優里は昔からそそっかしいんです。
それはない。
結婚して1年も経っているのに。
何言ってるの。いつもラブラブだよ。
今ここでキスしてみろ。
まずい展開になったぞ。どうする。いつものようにするだけさ。夜
結婚しませんか？あ！もしよければ面接の1回だけ。つまりお互いの利益のために。
では帰りに役所によって手続きを。やろう。辞める時もどんな困難が訪れようとも悲しみの時も共に助けよう。
Are you ready for an unforgettable journey into the world of spies and espionage? Introducing Spy X Family, the ultimate spy adventure where loyalty, trust, and family are put to the test. Following the thrilling story of Twilight, a seasoned spy on a mission, Anya, a gifted telepathic girl, and Yor, a ruthless assassin, as they navigate through a complex web of secrets and unexpected twists. But as these three unlikely characters form a strange alliance, they soon realize that their personal agendas may clash. Will they be able to put their differences aside and value each other more than their missions? Join us today as we dive into the exciting world of Spy X Family and find out. This anime is set during the Cold War, with tensions rising between the democratic Westalis and the European nation of Ostania. In episode 1, it's revealed that after the death of one of their diplomats in Ostania, the heads of Westalis believe it was an assassination by the East's far-right political party. They send their best agent, Twilight, to investigate. Twilight, disguised as a man named Robber, takes pictures of the foreign minister's toupee being blown by the wind, proving he wears a wig. He uses these pictures to force the minister to resign. Later, while on a date with Karen, she complains about her father's bad mood due to the stolen toupee pictures. Twilight realizes he no longer has use for Karen and her family and breaks up with her. The next day, Twilight receives a newspaper containing information about his next mission. He must get close to the leader of the National Unity Party, Donovan Desmond, and probe any seditious activities. To do this, he must enroll his child in the elite private school Donovan's son attends and infiltrate the social gatherings held there. The deadline for enrollment is 1 week away, leaving Twilight with little time to accomplish this mission. Twilight looks for a family apartment and signs the documents as Lloyd Forger, a psychiatrist. He then goes to an orphanage and chooses Anya, a telepathic child who can read minds. Anya is thrilled to be part of a spy mission and calls Twilight father. As they head home, Anya turns on the TV and sees Spy Wars, her favorite show. Twilight must now forge an ID for Anya, and as they go out, she gets overwhelmed by the crowd. But with her telepathic abilities and Twilight's guidance, they are sure to succeed in their mission. Desperate for a wife for the upcoming interview, Twilight turns to Frankie for help. Dressing him as a woman, Twilight is disappointed with the results. Seeing his reaction, Frankie complains that Twilight could have done a better job with the makeup. Recalling the Operation Strix mission, Twilight has no choice but to find a wife. At the Berlin City Hall, we meet Yor, a beautiful black-haired woman working an office job. Kamiya and her friends gossip about a possible thief in the office. Millie finds the section chief to be creepy, but Sharon attributes it to her short skirts. They also comment on Yor's aloof attitude, noting that if she used better clothes and makeup, she'd be quite attractive. Kamiya reminds Yor that she is 27 and single, and with the increase in spies, people are reporting anything suspicious. She invites Yor to her party this weekend and suggests she bring a partner. Later that night, Yor receives a call from her brother, Yuri, who expresses concern for her and suggests introducing her to someone. Yor tells him she has a boyfriend and will be attending Kamiya's party this weekend. However, hearing it's Kamiya's party, Yuri warns he will be asking about Yor's boyfriend, and if he's a loser, he'll chase him away. Yor starts to wonder what to do. If Yuri finds out she lied, he'll lose even more trust in her. The phone rings again, and Yor rushes to pick it up, only to find it's the shopkeeper. He informs her of a client at the Royal Hotel, room 1307. Yor heads to the hotel, kills the guards, and enters the room, explaining she's there to kill Vice Minister Brennan from the auditing department. She proceeds to kill everyone, revealing that she is an assassin with the code name Thorn Princess. As she washes the blood off, she sees she ruined her only good dress and, recalling her need for a partner, states the only homemaking skills she has are cleaning the home. Frankie gives Twilight copies of all files of unmarried women from the city hall. With the pressure of finding a suitable match within 48 hours, Frankie suggests the fastest way would be to find a woman with bad circumstances who will cooperate with him. However, Twilight wishes to find someone who is refined enough for a prestigious school and doesn't mind his fake divorce and newly adopted child. Frankie wonders why Twilight doesn't use a female agent from his work, but Twilight explains that a lot of them got caught in recent spy hunts and they don't have enough agents. He also reveals he has another mission, where he needs to eliminate a certain smuggling ring. As they go over the files, Twilight and Frankie race against time to find the perfect match. The next day, Twilight decides to buy Anya some new clothes. While Anya is getting measured, Twilight recalls the files of some of the women there. Suddenly, Yor passes behind him without him noticing, bringing the dress she ruined and wanting it fixed. Twilight recalls her file, a single woman with both parents deceased and a younger brother, with both working as civil servants with clean records. Yor notices that Twilight has been staring at her and asks him why. Surprised when she noticed his gaze, Twilight states he was admiring her beauty. Hearing he likes her appearance and needing a partner, Yor is about to ask him out, but Anya returns, stating she now knows how tall she is. Seeing he has a child, Yor backs off, as she heard that women have been killed by wives for trying to steal their husbands. Reading her mind, Anya learns that Yor is an assassin and standing next to a spy. Anya gets super excited. Anya then reads Twilight's mind that he was considering Yor for a wife, and Yor's mind that she was considering Twilight for a partner at a party, but is backing off now. Anya then starts acting lonely because she has no mother. Yor then wonders, naturally, where Twilight's wife is, and he explains she died 2 years ago. Learning that, Yor then decides to ask him to be her partner at a party, explaining the situation with her brother and that she needs someone to pretend to be her boyfriend at the party. Twilight agrees, however, he then explains he needs someone to pretend to be his wife during an interview as he wishes Anya to enter a good school. Admiring that, Yor agrees too. The two then agree to meet again at Saturday's party. While shopping, Twilight receives instructions for his other, and he learns that he needs to carry out a mission at 18 o'clock on Saturday, the same day as the party. That day, they manage to complete the mission and escape in a van. Twilight sees a diamond ring and decides to take it. While Frankie argues that it's an expensive item, reinforcements catch up to them and cause them to crash. Yor waits for her partner Lloyd at the party, but he still hasn't shown up. To save face, she attends alone, but her coworkers gossip that Lloyd doesn't exist. Just as she's about to leave, Lloyd arrives, bleeding and apologizing for being late. He introduces himself as Yor's husband, a psychiatrist whose patient had a violent episode. A jealous coworker tries to embarrass Yor, but Lloyd defends her and the couple leaves the party. Soon after, they're attacked by reinforcements and the two escape. While Lloyd beats off the men, Yor suggests they get married. Lloyd agrees and proposes with a grenade ring, which Yor accepts. Before these two have their happy life together, take a moment to answer the question of the day. How long do you think it'll take for their secrets to spill out? Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Every video we will pick one comment for a shout out. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video for more content and a chance to be chosen. Now, onto the video. The next day, Yor moves in with Lloyd and his daughter, Anya. They explain that they will have separate rooms, but will share one for appearances when they have guests over. Anya is excited to have a new mother and helps with Yor's unpacking. Lloyd reveals that he had a friend create a fake marriage certificate for them, and they will come up with a story for Yor's brother. Anya shows Yor around the house, and eventually her room, which Lloyd had cleaned and arranged. Yor likes the furniture arrangement, but Anya admits to accidentally tipping over a bucket of water while trying to help. Lloyd notices a picture of Yor and her brother, and plans to introduce himself once Anya's exam is over. Yor expresses concern about not having anything suitable to wear for the interview, but Lloyd assures her that they will go to the tailor. Anya tries to open a box containing Yor's weapons and poisons, but Yor stops her. As they prepare for Anya's interview at the prestigious Eden College, Lloyd acts as the interviewer and practices with Anya, but she gives poor answers. He suggests they go out and learn more about what is normal for an upper-class family. They go out and enjoy an opera and art museum, where Yor is fascinated by a painting of a guillotine. Anya draws a picture of her family, but tries to hide it from Lloyd when he comes over. Lloyd takes them to the tailor and orders a dress for Yor, suggesting they tell the tailor they are married next time. They also take a family picture. Finally, Lloyd takes them to a nationalist party rally where they speak of a possible peace with the West. However, Anya, who can read minds, hears negative thoughts about killing people from the West and starts to feel sick, and they leave. Feeling overwhelmed by the negative thoughts at the rally, Lloyd takes Anya away. As they distance themselves from the crowd, Anya's hunger returns, and Lloyd takes them to a restaurant. Anya eats with her hands, while Yor gets fascinated by the knife, causing Lloyd to doubt the success of their mission. He thinks about creating a list of every possible question the interviewer could ask and make them memorize it. Yor suggests they get some fresh air and takes them to a park with a beautiful view of the town. While admiring the view, they witness a man robbing an elderly woman. Yor immediately chases after the thief, but loses him in the crowd. Lloyd tries to track him down, but also loses him. Anya uses her ability to read the minds of everyone and successfully locates the thief. Lloyd apprehends him and returns the stolen purse to the old woman, who thanks them and calls them a good family. Back at home, Lloyd conducts a mock interview with Anya, focusing on her hobbies and how she would handle a friend's misbehavior. Anya is able to give the right answers, but Lloyd still feels unprepared. Anya compliments Lloyd on his bravery and Yor agrees. Lloyd reflects on the old woman's comment and feels that only 1% of his preparations are complete. As Anya embarks on her training, one question remains. Will she have what it takes to overcome the challenges ahead? The
バカめさあ行け
魔女いるの
最強の魔女
The next day, Lloyd and his new family, Yor and Anya, arrive at Eden Academy ready to take their entrance exam. As they enter the schoolyard, they feel like they are being watched. Lloyd quickly realizes that the instructors are observing them and that the exam has already begun. He instructs Yor and Anya to act properly. Overlooking the families entering Eden Academy, the instructors are grading candidates on their elegance. Henry Henderson, the housemaster, is disappointed by this year's candidates as they lack true elegance. However, he notices the forger stopping to pay respect to the school founder statue, which he finds elegant. The instructors tell him that it's K212, the forgers, and Anya barely passed the exams with 31 points, which Henry doesn't find elegant. As Lloyd had remarried, an instructor wonders if they are an impromptu family for admission purposes, but Henry isn't certain and wants to investigate. On their way to Hall 1, the forgers and those that passed, Lloyd sees a boy who had fallen into the gutter and requests help to get out. Lloyd realizes it's an obvious test and decides to deal with the situation. He gives Anya a signal, and she states that they need to help the boy. The boy is made to do this for merits, but Henry is shocked and disappointed, telling the instructors to fail them. However, he is shocked to see that the forgers had prepared a change of clothes just in case, which makes Lloyd look even better. He is moved by how brilliant and elegant that was, and the instructors state they should be testing the child. Continuing towards Hall 1, an alarm rings, informing the people that the animals have escaped the farmhouse and are running wild. Yor stops the cow by hitting pressure points and immobilizing it, much to Lloyd and Anya's shock. Anya then pets the cow, telling it there is no need to be scared, and the cow and the rest of the animals calm down and return to the farmhouse. Henry can't believe this elegance and runs outside to meet the forgers. He thanks them for avoiding a crisis and admits they bested him today. He announces they will be delaying the interview and it will give them time to tidy up themselves. During the precious interviews, Lloyd had already planted a listening device in the room and hears how the previous families failed the interview. When it's their turn, the housemaster of Dorm 2, Murdoch Swan, asks Yor why a beautiful girl like her would marry someone with a child, but Yor explains that Lloyd is a wonderful person who truly cares for his daughter and is very considerate of her. Murdoch then asks Anya to compare Yor to her previous mother, and the little girl starts to tear up. As Anya begins to cry, Murdoch dismisses her feelings, causing Yor to lose control and lash out. Lloyd tries to calm Yor down, but when Murdoch belittles the child's emotions, Lloyd snaps, punching the table in anger. Despite Murdoch's attempts to continue the interview, Lloyd storms out, declaring that if this is the type of education offered at Eden, they have chosen the wrong school for Anya. After the family leaves, the headmaster punches Murdoch and remarks that they were elegant, intelligent, and worthy of the interview. At home, Lloyd reflects on how his emotions hindered their mission, but Anya assures him that they will have a brighter future as a family, with the support of their friends Walter and Henry. They raise a toast to a new beginning. The next day, Twilight's chief is informed by his secretary that the admission results for Eden Academy will be announced today. However, the chief isn't worried as he knows Twilight is the best spy and will soon contact them to say he got in. Meanwhile, Lloyd and his family run into a series of bad luck events on their way to check the results. Upon arriving, Lloyd discovers that Anya's name is not on the list of successful applicants. Feeling defeated, the forgers are approached by Henry Henderson, who shows them a confidential rating list with Anya at the top. He explains that if someone from the successful applicants withdraws, Anya will be accepted into the school. Lloyd is surprised considering his outburst, but Henry states that the mosquitoes are the #1 human killers, and Lloyd saving Murdoch Swan from it boosted their points. Yor realizes that if no one withdraws, Anya might not get in. She imagines killing an applicant's father so Anya can get in, but decides not to as she mustn't kill an innocent person. Henry tells the forgers to wait for a call, as usually few applicants withdraw each year. 3 days later, the phone rings and Lloyd rushes to it, informing Yor and Anya that Anya is in, making everyone happy. Later that week, the forgers visit the tailor to have Anya's school uniform made. Lloyd suggests making it a bit larger since Anya will grow into it. The tailor warns them of the discrimination and bullying that occurs at Eden Academy. She also mentions the recent rise in kidnappings of commuter students. Anya becomes scared and doesn't want to go to school anymore, but the tailor apologizes and assures them that there are many fun things about school as well. Afterward, Lloyd suggests they eat out and Yor agrees. At the restaurant, Lloyd receives a secret message with his food, informing him of a briefing in 5 days at a safe house. 5 days later, Lloyd receives a call that Anya's uniform is ready. Since he has a mission briefing, he asks Yor to pick it up with Anya. At the safe house, Lloyd meets with wise handler Sylvia Sherwood, who scolds him for his expenses. Sylvia briefs Lloyd on Phase 2 of Operation Strix, which requires a social gathering. She explains that the school, called Eden, has around 2,500 students, and the curriculum covers all 13 years. The honor students, known as Imperial Scholars, are those who excel above their peers. To become an Imperial Scholar, a student must earn 8 merits, known as Stella, and those who receive 8 demerits, known as Tonitrous Bolts, will be expelled. Meanwhile, Yor and Anya pick up Anya's uniform. Anya likes it and wears it as they stop at the park. Yor reflects on her role as a mother to Anya and suggests they go to the supermarket. However, a group of thugs notice Anya's uniform and try to extort Yor, believing her to be Anya's maid. Yor fights them off and asserts herself as Anya's mother. She feels guilty for letting Anya out of her sight and decides to train Anya to protect herself. The forgers attend the welcoming ceremony at Eden. Lloyd is happy they made it this far, but in order for his mission to succeed, his family must get closer to Donovan's. Anya wonders about her class placement, but Lloyd knows she's been placed with Damien Desmond, Donovan's son, as part of his plan to get close to Donovan. If Plan A, making Anya an Imperial Scholar, fails, Lloyd will resort to Plan B, the friendship scheme. Anya enters class, catching Damien's eye. But she's not impressed and instead focuses on the other students, including the daughter of a military contractor and the son of a Secret Service member, potential sources of intel for Lloyd. As the class housemaster, Henry Henderson, shows them around, Damien brings about his father and dismisses Anya as a peasant. Anya holds back her anger, but eventually snaps and punches Damien, who has been bullying her and her new friend Becky. At the parent gathering, Lloyd is shocked to learn of Anya's actions, but Henry explains that he'll only receive a minor punishment due to Anya standing up for a friend. Lloyd realizes both Plan A and Plan B have failed on the first day. At the start of episode 7, we see the Forger household getting ready in the morning. While preparing breakfast, Lloyd recalls that he successfully managed to get Anya in Eden Academy. Since Anya punched Damien, the plan for the two kids to become friends was derailed. However, Lloyd decides not yet to give up. Yor and Anya join him for breakfast. Both feel bad about what happened yesterday, but Lloyd cheers them up. They send Anya to school, and Lloyd tells her to apologize to Damien. Arriving at Eden, Anya meets with her new friend Becky, and sparks fly as they see Damien and his friends. Anya attempts to apologize, but Becky pulls her, saying that class is starting soon. Meanwhile, Lloyd was worried and infiltrated Eden to spy on Anya and gets annoyed at Becky, Anya feeling pressure to apologize. As Anya heads to class, she can sense the tension in the room as the other students avoid her and talk about her behind her back. Meanwhile, Damien looks at her with a mix of anger and confusion, still reeling from her defiance. Determined to make amends, Anya seeks out an opportunity to apologize to Damien. But before she can, she receives a sign from Lloyd using a mirror and light. In class, Anya reads a passage in her language book where the character John apologizes, which she takes as another sign to make amends with Damien. While Anya makes her way to the cafeteria, she sees messages of apology all around her. From sorry written in the bushes to a student with a sorry sign on his back, at the cafeteria she even sees sorry written on her omelet rice. Anya finally gets her chance to apologize to Damien, but instead of accepting her apology, Damien runs away, telling her he will never forgive her. Feeling defeated, Anya returns home and attempts to study with Lloyd and Yor, but struggles to focus and overcome the lingering emotions from her failed apology. Lloyd and Yor take a different approach and encourage Anya to study in a way that makes her happy, reminding her that her education is important, but she should still enjoy the process. Wondering why his plan failed, Lloyd tries to understand Anya better. He goes to her room and tells her that her spy show is starting, and she's free to watch it. As he doesn't get a reply, he enters the room and sees Anya sleeping over her textbooks, showing that she was studying hard all by herself. He moves her to her bed and decides to record her show. Meanwhile, Yuri, Yor's brother, learns that his sister has just been married. In shock, Yuri vows to make sure his sister married a worthy man and not some loser. The next day at school, Anya confidently answers a math question. Her classmates are amazed, but her teacher informs her that she's wrong. In the city, Lloyd reassures a concerned handler that his daughter's grades will improve, but she comments on how bad at lying he is. Handler warns Lloyd to be careful as their informant at City Hall was arrested. Yor, meanwhile, realizes she forgot to tell her brother Yuri about her marriage. At City Hall, Millie and Sharon discuss a colleague's arrest for espionage, and Kamiya reminds Yor to tell Yuri about her marriage. Meanwhile, at SSS HQ, a lieutenant interrogates Jim for information on the documents he sold, and Yor's brother Yuri takes over the interrogation, showing Jim photos of him dealing with another man. Jim admits he sold the documents for cash, but doesn't know the man's identity. Yuri reveals the man is Twilight, a dangerous spy from the West, and slams Jim's face onto the table when he refuses to cooperate. Yuri states that Jim has committed treason and that he will do anything to protect the country his sister lives in. Meanwhile, at the Forger household, Anya watches Spy Wars with Lloyd, who is surprised when she correctly guesses how many bullets Bondman has left. This makes Lloyd wonder if Anya's math skills could be improved by cartoons. Later, Yor reveals that her brother, Yuri, is coming over to congratulate them on their marriage. Lloyd and Yor decorate their home to appear like a loving married couple, but both hide their true feelings towards each other. Yuri arrives, and while Lloyd prepares dinner, Yuri questions Yor about why she kept her marriage a secret. Yor explains that she married to avoid suspicion, but also to keep Yuri from worrying. Lloyd watches from the kitchen, wondering about how Yor will handle the situation. Pushing the subject, Yuri asks Lloyd and Yor how they met. They explain their first meeting at a boutique, where Lloyd couldn't help but stare at Yor's beauty. Yuri starts asking specific questions, making Lloyd feel like he's being interrogated. When Yuri asks what Yor calls Lloyd, Yor is too embarrassed to speak. Yuri assumes she calls him a cute nickname and drinks away in anger. Yor denies this, saying she simply calls him Lloyd. Lloyd then realizes that Yuri was a domestic counterintelligence agent. Lloyd believes that as long as Yuri's true identity isn't discovered, keeping a relationship with him is valuable for intelligence on Lloyd's enemies. He also notices that Yuri is hiding his job from Yor, making him think that her brother might be easier to manipulate. Moving back to the topic of their recent marriage, the couple attempts to convince Yuri of their genuine love, but he insists on proof. He orders them to kiss, threatening to annul their marriage if they don't. Lloyd, being Twilight, Westalis' top spy, is unfazed by the request and assures Yor that it's just part of the mission. Yor, however, is nervous and unprepared for her first kiss as Lloyd moves in closer. Lloyd Forger leans in to kiss a panicked Yor Forger, which leads her to down the bottle of wine as she can't kiss him sober. Lloyd whispers that they don't have to do this, which leads Yuri Breyer to ask why they're whispering and whether they're actually in love or not. Yor throws a fork at Yuri to shut him up, grazing his cheek, and pushes down Lloyd to kiss him. As Yuri watches, he falls into despair at the sight of another man stealing his sister's lips. Quickly, Yuri decides to leap in to stop an embarrassed Yor, who tries to slap Lloyd. Lloyd dodges her slap, and Yuri ends up being slapped. Yuri flies across the room before crashing and momentarily waking up Anya before she returns to sleep. A bloody Yuri gets up and misinterprets the slap as Yor being mad that he tried to stop them. Lloyd and Yor clean up, and Lloyd checks for listening devices. As they prepare to sleep, Lloyd reflects on his envy of their close bond and the fact that he has no family but Anya. Meanwhile, Yuri stumbles to the nearest hospital. The next morning, Anya wakes up to greet her plant, mistaking it for Lloyd. Lloyd reminds her to wash her face, and Yor greets her with a good morning. She learns that her uncle, Yuri, was supposed to visit last night but couldn't make it. Anya questions the secret police and finds them exciting. Lloyd is relieved that Yuri is gone so he can help Anya study. They begin breakfast, and Lloyd reflects on Yor's brother's involvement in the SSS. Lloyd plants a bug on Yor while pretending to wipe off gunk, and Yor is flustered. As the family prepares to leave, Yor reflects on her shortcomings as a wife and worries that Lloyd is disappointed in her. Anya advises her parents to get along before leaving for school. Lloyd thinks about how intuitive children can be before heading out with Yor. As Yuri sits at the SSS headquarters, the lieutenant questions him about his injuries from the previous night. Yuri brushes it off, claiming he can't remember, but the lieutenant assumes he got into a fight with Lloyd. Yuri reveals his suspicion that Lloyd may be a spy, but the lieutenant reminds him that he needs proof before taking any action. Yuri reflects on his sister's involvement, and the lieutenant urges him to focus on his work in catching Western spies, specifically Twilight. Meanwhile, at Berlin City Hall, Yor struggles with her new role as a wife and expresses her insecurities to her coworkers. Lloyd listens in on the conversation and realizes that Yor has never been in a relationship before. For some reason, he sees her efforts to appear more wifely as a potential act of deception. As she runs an errand for her superior, Lloyd and Frankie, disguised as secret police officers, stop her and question her about a coded message in a letter she had just posted. Yor denies any involvement, but the disguised Lloyd and Frankie make her doubt her trust in her superiors and her own abilities as a wife. Lloyd questions her involvement in the conspiracy, and Yor denies any involvement. Frankie chimes in with the story of a finance department member who was tortured and killed himself in his cell. He also mentions a parliament member's secretary who was caught and let go due to her SSS family ties. Frankie adds that it's part of their job to make suspicions disappear. Lloyd tells Yor that they need to take her back to the station, thinking that if she reveals Yuri's SSS identity, this situation could be resolved. But Yor stands firm, insisting that she works hard for her country and would never participate in espionage. Frankie tries to force her to come with them, but Yor fights back, reminding Frankie that she's a married woman and warning that she'll show no mercy if they harm her family. With a newfound understanding Yor's loyalty, Lloyd turns to Frankie and asks Second Lieutenant Mop if he's certain he deciphered the code correctly. Frankie confirms that it was encoded in the Caterpillar cipher, not the Raccoon cipher, and that it was a letter from Mr. Barnes to a hemorrhoid treatment specialist. They apologize for their mistake and release Yor, reminding her to keep the contents of the letter a secret. Frankie confirms that Yor is not connected to the secret police. Lloyd, feeling guilty, removes his mask as Frankie reminds him to keep his emotions in check and never trust anyone. Lloyd, irritated, rips off Frankie's disguise. Frankie complains that he was hoping to impress some girls with the disguise. Lloyd insists that deceiving women is wrong. Kind of ironic. As Yor walks home, she reflects on the events of the day and runs into Lloyd, who offers to walk with her. Lloyd, pretending to fix her collar, removes a bug. Yor apologizes for not being a good wife, but Lloyd reassures her that there is no right way to be a wife and encourages her to be true to herself. As they walk home, they decide to celebrate their fake one-year anniversary by getting a cake. Anya returns home and is happy to see her parents getting along. They all enjoy cake together, and Lloyd thinks back to Frankie's comment, crushing the bug and throwing it away, content in the knowledge that he trusts Yor. Will Lloyd ever uncover his wife's secret identity? What dark plans does Yor's brother have in store?
あと3分
苦しい。どこの子？
The next day, we see the headmaster, Henry Henderson, starting his day with a jog around Eden Academy. After freshening up, he enjoys a cup of tea with the dorm tutor. The tutor mentions Henry's accomplishments and his role in leading the grade school children, to which Henry humbly responds that good deeds should be praised and misconduct punished. Meanwhile, in the dorm common room, Damien observes a group photo and reflects on his own aspirations to become an imperial scholar. His friends, Ewan and Emil, encourage him and remind him of an upcoming dodgeball tournament where the MVP will be rewarded a Stella. But despite this optimism, the morning takes a sour turn when Henry is greeted by a fight between his students. Henry expresses slight disappointment, but is ready to face another elegant day at Eden Academy. As Anya returns home, she excitedly shares with Lloyd a rumor she heard from Becky about the opportunity to earn a Stella Star in PE class. Despite Lloyd's doubts, he is determined to help Anya succeed and joins Yor in training her for the upcoming dodgeball game. Through intense training and learning a killer move, Anya is ready for the big day. However, tensions rise before the game as Anya, Becky, and Damien's gang argue. As Henderson announces that he will be overseeing the match between Cecile Hall and Wald Hall, the game begins. Bill Watkins, a massive and confident student from Wald Hall, easily eliminates several members of Cecile's team. Despite Becky's efforts to take him out, she is eliminated as well. As Damien, Ewan, and Emil try to take out Bill together, they too are eliminated, leaving only Damien, Anya, and one other student left on Cecile's team. With Damien planning to survive and stand out, Bill sets his sights on Anya next. He throws several balls at her, but she expertly dodges them all using her mind-reading abilities. However, as she inches closer to out of bounds, she trips and falls. Seeing his chance, Bill hurls a ball toward Anya, yelling, "Die!" In a selfless act, Damien jumps in the way of the ball and tries to catch it, ultimately eliminating himself. Anya is moved by Damien's sacrifice and announces she will get revenge for his death. Remembering Yor's training, Anya uses her killer move and throws the ball at Bill, but it ultimately hits the ground and bounces back at her, eliminating her instead. Bill and his team were excited, thinking he was going to get a Stella Star. However, Henry informs them that they do not give out Stella Stars for a simple PE game, but he may need to give Bill a tonitrous bolt for his improper language. Damien rushes over to Anya and yells at her for wasting his sacrifice. As Ewan, Emil, and Becky join in to start to argue, Henry considered the children worthy of a Stella Star for their teamwork, but he changes his mind. Lloyd discovers Anya's failing grades and intervenes, shutting off her TV and taking her to study. Despite his efforts to teach her idioms through her favorite show, Spy Wars, Anya reveals she plans to cheat by reading classmates' minds. Lloyd struggles with the morality of helping her cheat and decides to try other activities, such as drawing and sports, but with little success. Yor suggests jumping rope, and they decide to do community service at a hospital the next day. At the hospital, Anya proves to be a distraction, breaking flower pots and reading manga instead of cleaning. Eventually, she runs off to assist a doctor, but ends up getting in the way. As the nurse dismisses Lloyd and Anya from their hospital duties, Lloyd sadly realizes she won't be able to earn a Stella Star this way. But little did she know, fate had other plans. As they walk through the hospital, they pass Ken, a patient, and his mother on their way to the pool. Ken's mother leaves him near the pool while she goes to change. Ken reaches his hand in to check the temperature, but ends up falling in. Unable to swim, he starts to drown. Suddenly, Anya hears his cries for help through her telepathy and rushes to the pool. She frantically searches for Ken before diving in, but she can't swim either. Lloyd quickly follows and saves both of them. The next day, Anya is awarded a Stella Star for her heroic actions and is congratulated by her classmates. Anya realizes that she can use her powers to help people and is filled with joy. She's determined to earn more Stella Stars and make a difference in the world. The next day at school, Becky and Anya walk into their class, but the students immediately start to badmouth Anya for wearing her Stella Star. Despite the other students' attempts to assert that the incident was faked, Anya remains confident. However, when two girls ask Damien for support, he instead tells them that Eden Academy wouldn't give out Stella Stars without merit. This only hurts Damien because he knows that he has lost to Anya. During lunch, Becky asks Anya what she wants as a reward for earning a Stella Star. Anya initially thinks of peanuts, but Becky encourages her to think bigger. The idea of a castle excites Anya, but Becky tries to get her to lower her request size. As Damien and his gang walk by, Anya asks Damien if he has a dog. Damien brushes off the question, but Anya reads his mind and sees him playing with his dog Max. This makes Anya want a dog as a reward. When Anya arrives home, she tells Lloyd and Yor that she wants a dog as a reward for her Stella Star. Yor warns her of the responsibility, but Lloyd is open to the idea. Lloyd envisions a guard dog while Yor envisions a dog that would attack and kill Anya. However, Anya wants a small, cute dog. Meanwhile, two shady men discuss the sales of the dogs they have in holding. They plan on selling them to revolutionaries who will use them as bomb dogs. As they look over the dogs, one of them has a vision of the Forger household, and the big white dog stands up. In the morning, Lloyd enters a Subway store where he is handed another mission by a wise contact. Despite being busy with Operation Strix and constantly saying that he cannot take on more work, he reluctantly finally takes on the mission as it involves obtaining important intel on a new chemical weapon. Back at home, Lloyd's wife, Yor, and daughter, Anya, notice he's tired and suggest they go out as a family to the aquarium. As they're about to board the subway, Lloyd realizes his mission is at the very aquarium that they're headed to. At the aquarium, Anya is excited to see the animals while Lloyd focuses on his mission, finding a penguin with a capsule containing the intel smuggled inside. Anya uses her mind-reading abilities to locate the right penguin, and Lloyd disguises himself as a new staff member to get closer to the penguins and complete his mission. Leading Lloyd to the penguins, a senior staff member demonstrates how to feed them. As Lloyd struggles to remember their names, he quickly recognizes the penguins around him, impressing the staff. Spotting Parles, his target penguin, Lloyd takes the initiative to figure out how to feed them and easily controls the group. However, upon closer inspection, Lloyd discovers Parles is sick and takes him to the treatment room. As Lloyd examines the penguin, a man claiming to be a marine biology researcher approaches him, but Lloyd quickly realizes his ID is fake. The man pulls out a gun, but Lloyd disarms him with a bucket. The man escapes, but Lloyd's mission is a success as he obtains important information from the penguin. Back at home, Lloyd presents Anya with a stuffed penguin as a prize for winning a penguin name guessing challenge. Anya introduces Penguin Man, her new recruit in her secret organization P2, to the rest of the team and shows him around the hideout. However, when Anya attempts to enter Lloyd's room without permission, he scolds her and she starts to cry. Worried about her reaction, Lloyd pretends to be Penguin Man, and this calms her down. We end the episode with the happy family going to buy Anya candy. And there you have it, folks, a thrilling recap of episodes 10 to 12 of Spy X Family. The question on everyone's mind is, will Lloyd's missions continue to escalate in danger? Will the bomb dog plot finally unfold? Stay tuned for more exciting updates and anime recaps of Spy X Family.